Hey everybody.
Welcome back. This is 100-Bit, and we are talking some more about some other conferences.
Continuing our ever-exclusive coverage.
Yes, and this time around we'll be including Electronic Arts and Ubisoft. Probably because there's not enough...
There's not a lot.
At least EA doesn't have a lot.
I don't know. I'm not going to really like this video, mostly because... I don't know. Whoever's watching this will probably still be on the fence of what EA is as a company.
They're pain in my... whatever.
They're... And today did not help. And the information that was shown, it apparently was nothing new. I believe I established that with the Dragon Age thing, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, no, the first 25 minutes or so was spent talking about real games, and the rest of it was, guess what?
Sports. Which, in a way, I understand because they have those franchises and thus need to market them, but I just think they could have shortened it.
The same stupid people that bought freaking Madden 12, 13, and freaking 25 are still going to buy Madden 15. You don't have to rehash the hell out of it.
If there was only going to be a few changes, then bring it up maybe on the show floor. I mean, it's not like people know they aren't going to show up. They will.
Jesus
just so tell us about the changes on that. But anyway, let's go down the line. So the first 20 minutes, like Michael said, were covered with the games that we were looking for from EA. But sad to say, the information was a bit lackluster. Starting with like a behind the scenes video of Battlefront.
Oh my god, Battlefront! That friggin' made
the game that people were saying that was gameplay was supposed to be shown and other stuff like that. What we got was a behind the scenes video.
No. To clarify, what EA really said was it will show up in some form. It didn't. To be honest, it might as well not have shown up at all. They just showed like a behind the scenes thing. Look, this is us taking a picture of where Hoth was filmed.
They spent the whole year, apparently, between announcing it last year and this year, going to the old locations of the movies and taking pictures of the movie props. Which, I'm all for it, whatever. You work on the game, just I wish I could have seen a little bit more.
I mean, anything really, at this point. Just, Jesus Christ. I don't care about... I mean, actually, I should rephrase that. I do care that you're using, these pictures for textures and stuff like that. But Jesus Christ, I care more about, is this a first person? Is this a third person? I care more about that than this is Hoth.
Judging from that, it would make more sense if you switched the presentations from last year and this year. Last year's could have been the behind the scenes video, and this year's could have been that teaser.
Yeah,
and it would have made more sense.
Yeah, they definitely backtracked. Speaking of backtracking, let's talk about another one of my favorite not publishers, developers, BioWare. What did they have up their sleeve this year, Mark?
They went, they showed off with I did like their little presentation of the girl with the violin playing a nice song for Dragon, because they started with Dragon Age Inquisition, and they showed off gameplay of it, and once again, according to my sister, who's kept up to date on the information, there was nothing new. They had a trailer about the party members, which were party members that were already announced and talked about. The only upside is that we saw gameplay of a dragon fight, and that's cool and all. And I know it sounds like I sound hypocritical when I'm complaining that Battlefront should show us gameplay, and now I'm complaining that Dragon Age Inquisition only showed us gameplay. But Inquisitions as a whole, being one of the bigger RPGs that's coming out this year for EA,
in what? 2 months, 3 months.
Yeah, I'm giving Battlefront and the next couple games that BioWare is working on some slack because they year.
No. Battlefront doesn't even have a release target window.
They released out on the show floor of a spring 2015.
Oh, really?
Spring 2015.
Oh.
Of a release day.
Well, that's new info.
Yeah, it was a little drop, but either way, I'm giving Inquisition a little bit more to show because they got an October 7 release date to work on, and But all in all, Inquisition, but as a game, I'm talking about the presentation, but I want to get into the game a little bit. The game itself looks great. There were things I liked about Origins, there's things I didn't like, there's things I liked about Dragon Age 2 that I didn't like, but it seems like, my opinion with Mass Effect 3 is that it was a good blend of 1 and 2, and Inquisition looks like a good blend of 1 and 2 for Dragon Age.
That's the nice thing about... Actually, you could see this common trend, where Dragon Age Origins was very, very RPG-ish. Mass Effect 1 was very, very, very RPG-ish.
And then
Mass Effect 2
went the action route.
Yeah, Dragon Age 2 went the action route, and now 3 is combining the perfect combination of the both. As far as this might sound a little weird, at least coming from me, I liked Mass Effect 1's RPG focusedness.
I wasn't a big fan on the multiple copies of weapons thing.
I was okay with that because honestly, it just felt like, okay, this is the same weapon that I had, but I found a cool upgrade for it or whatever. I found a new, I don't know, just used my imagination. I found a new focus, lens focuser for the laser rifle or whatever. Something like that. That's just my mind though with RPGs. With Dragon Age though, it kind of turned me off. Not really the expansiveness, but just like, I don't want to say the blandness, but it Dragon Age Origins...
It was very generic.
It was generic, yeah. And so, when Dragon Age 2 came out, my only complaint was, they reused a lot of the textures, and they reused a lot of the maps.
Dragon Age was generic, but it did the BioWare thing and told a good story in that genericness.
Yeah. And that was the beauty of Dragon Age Origins.
And then, 2 went the action route, but Inquisition looks like a nice mixture. They showed off a pretty cool looking dragon fight. They did talk about later on in their coverage that there's going to be, you can attack the different limbs of the dragon. There's going to be all kinds of planning. You can go in full action, or you can do a more tactical view with like pausing the battle and organizing the teammates and stuff, which it's open for everybody, which means everybody can get on track with that. Obviously promoting a big open world to run around and explore.
Yeah, which raises the question for me, though, like, in the original Dragon Age Origins, fighting a dragon, or I should say, in Dragon Age Origins, the dragon was, the final boss, so to speak.
Yeah, there's something, according to my sister, there's something about a high dragon. A dragon that's, like, in charge of the Fade or something.
Yeah, and that's, if I remember correctly, that's what you fought at the end of Origins.
You fought the arch.
No, I'm sorry.
You fought the archdemon.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm backtracking. Yeah, that was incorrect. Whatever.
But after Inquisition, which it impressed me. Just I was hoping for new info, and it didn't come up. After that, there was a bit of a behind-the-scenes thing with BioWare, and I'll have Michael take over for that one.
Yeah, this one is where I'm gonna take the reins. BioWare talked about Mass Effect 4. Whoa, big surprise.
Oh, yeah, the next Mass Effect game. I don't know if they wanted to say 4.
Yeah, they didn't actually specifically say Mass Effect 4. They just said the next Mass Effect game.
I would expect it being a new title.
Yeah, I was expecting, exactly, just something else. That Mass Effect Origins. No, I'm just kidding.
Mass Effect Ascension, Revelations, those.
Yeah, it's just something else. And all we got was, we are working hard on it. Here is a picture of... what was
some N7 armor?
Yeah, some generic humanoid character in N7 armor.
And a Krogan.
And a Krogan standing next to a kiosk. And here's that.
And there was there was all this before E3 for Mass Effect, they were showing off, like, for N7 Day for 2013, they were tweeting pictures of the development process. And we're seeing, like, all these little pictures of drawings and stuff like that. And even then, they were tweeting a couple months after they were showing a select number of people of how far the game has come.
Yeah.
And people were excited and impressed and talked about it. And so
I was expecting something. I was expecting anything, really. And all they were like, okay, here's a picture. Here's the Krogan screaming at something beyond the camera. That's it. Okay, great, wonderful, thank you. And then they moved on really, really fast. Like, it was like, really, you're going to switch gears like that? They just switched gears over to, by the way, BioWare is working on a new IP, and we really like it.
They decided to say that they shifted the Mass Effect game off to another sub-developer of BioWare that we aren't really familiar with. So the main BioWare team that did 1 through 3 will not be working on it this time. They'll be doing the new IP.
And that frustrates me, because... they know, I don't know, actually, I want to see what these new people could do, but the main BioWare team, I think with BioWare Montreal, they're the geniuses of Mass Effect. They were the one that created that perfect balance between action and RPG.
I can't remember, did they lose any major staff?
No, they didn't.
3 and 4?
They retained pretty much everything.
Oh, okay.
Everyone, I mean. It was just frustrating for me to hear that for the sake of a new IP, we're going to push away our star child.
So
and then give you no information about either.
Yeah.
Because that was it. That was all they
I wasn't
talked
a big
about
fan
with
of
the
them
IP.
just saying that it was coming.
Yeah, it's Mass Effect. The new Mass Effect is coming, and we are working on a new IP.
And
The end.
E3 is where you show it off. And at least to me,
You're supposed to lay your cards on the table at this point, and they did nothing. It was, for me, it was just embarrassing. And I'm not even the developer. I was the guy that was supporting them.
I still love BioWare. It's just I don't know if this this is the debate, since none of us are really in the industry that much. We don't know if this was EA's doing or BioWare's doing.
I would want to say, I don't know, just for the sake of defending the reputation, I would want to say it's EA's doing. I mean, they were the ones that rushed Mass Effect 3 out the window.
Yeah, so BioWare, sad to say, be it EA's things or their own, they came off as a little bit weak. To my sister, I'll say my sister is our social media advisor.
Yeah.
We'll sound more official that way.
Yeah, I think that was her official title.
She got a giddy when they introduced Sims 4. For all Sims fans, I know Sims are fun games.
I'm a Sims fan in the fact that the console ones are never tarnished.
Oh, and I'll be putting the picture in the video of the guy hearing the woman complain while he's trying to eat his pancakes.
I'm just trying to eat my pancakes.
And they were showing off some fun stuff, like the silly things that you can do with Sims, and that was fine. That's good for an E3 presentation because they showed off a lot and what you could do with it. So
I can't wait to buy all 57 of their expansion packs for it, though.
yeah, hopefully they won't get too big on that. I don't know if they said something about a console release for that.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Either way, it got a September 2nd release date, which
Yeah.
is soon. And then came the sports.
Battlefield and PGA Golf. What?
Battlefield was in PGA Tour for the craziness. FIFA was talking about how the new game, you can have your shoes get dirty. And
Oh, wow.
and the soccer ball, when it hits the flag, it moves realistically.
What? The flag moves.
Madden covered, apparently it's working on its defense gameplay, which that I'm not so adamant on it.
with?
No, I'm not going to attack it that much. That's a gameplay change, but it still wasn't probably worth an E3 thing. But at least it was a
It
change.
could be. I don't know. With the sports, it's like, honestly, some of it you can hold off and some of it you can't. Where you draw the line for it, though, it's kind of blurry.
Yeah, and like you said about racing games, how the only thing they can improve on is being more realistic.
Yeah.
That's the only things that these got going for it. And then I just make that claim again. Yeah, I
Well, I mean,
I can't get behind a car and drive 200 miles an hour. That's why I have these racing
you
games.
can, but
If I wanted to do
Not
sports, I'll go outside and play sports when it comes to getting that realistic.
yeah.
So I don't get the claim. Racing games I understand because I obviously don't want to get into a car at 200 miles an hour and drive down my neighborhood street.
I'd be down.
I'm not for that. I'm not for bodily injury. I can crash in this game and be fine. But sports games, just go outside and play. I honestly do. And that's a gamer advertising you to go outside and play these sports.
What?
After that, they continued to kind of disappoint. This is just me being pessimistic at this point because I remember my attitude through the conference. It was sports, and I was just getting so pessimistic at this point because they brought up a Dawngate, a MOBA game that they're going to be working on, and right now in my head, I haven't had to look at it. I haven't looked at it anymore. In my head right now,
It's generic.
It's as of June 13th. It's a generic MOBA that has EA trying to kind of cash in on the MOBA market. It looked like a generic thief, a generic mage, a generic warrior, and all this, behind-the-scenes footage of having professional players play it, and they're building it from the ground up. So maybe it could be a balanced game, it could be all that stuff. It just looks generic, and I would like to say it's EA cashing in on that.
Yep.
And then after that, they went a little bit too long on their final announcement, which was Battlefield Hardline.
Whatever.
They did do a beta that they released that day. I played it, and it's okay. It's Battlefield. It's cops and robbers, which I like the change. I like the change in music because it's not that techno farting. I like just the different premise. It's not a war game, so to speak, even though I was playing the game, and I'm sorry, robbers don't shoot a crane and destroy 3 buildings while the crane falls. That's not what robbers do.
Yeah.
So
Be realistic,
So-
EA.
it's still a military shooter with you looking like cops and robbers. I just appreciate the change in aesthetic because of the gameplay is in robbing stuff and trying to get away with it.
Whatever.
It's fine, and but it was ultimately a bomb trial. Oh, and it gave a release date for October 21st. And then after that, that's EA.
Gag me.
That's EA in a nutshell.
Gross.
So they
So grody.
You know, grab whatever good information you can out of it, but just it wasn't much.
Yeah, and as far as you Mass Effect fans, you're gonna have to be waiting with me for November 7th.
You can scrape the forums if you want for info.
There's nothing to scrape.
I know they dropped info for like Mass Effect 3 DLC and stuff. If you were on the forums, which I was, you could find some info or leaks or whatever they like to show off. I don't know if they're still doing that. You're free to check. Now on to Ubisoft, which
They did better.
They did better.
As far as a publisher goes, if we had to model it after something, Ubisoft had a great example.
I went back to look at their games, and now looking at them more fully, I appreciate them more.
Yeah. I mean, Ubisoft pre-conference, I was very pessimistic as to what they were going to show. Thinking back about Watch Dogs and trying to be, I want to say, merciful with them. I kind of already damned them, right? And then I already was like expecting them to show Assassin's Creed, which big surprise they showed it, but I was like expecting them to just go generic cash cow on it.
Which I'm surprised to say that they kind of did, but we'll get into the games and you guys can decide. I'm a little bit on the fence as opposed to them cashing in or actually trying to break the mold. We'll see with what we show off because they started off with a reveal of Far Cry 4.
Boom.
Which in a way they're introducing a cool villain for you to get introduced to. I forgot the name. It's the guy on the cover, like with Far Cry 3. Everybody was interested in Voss, and he was a pretty interesting bad guy. So that's the same deal with this one. And I'm more excited for it because I did like Far Cry 3, and Far Cry 4 on the new hardware will probably give you just a bigger world to explore.
If I remember correctly, I think Troy Baker is supposed to be voicing either the main character or the main antagonist, the guy on the box. And if I remember correctly, he was praising Far Cry 3, but saying that Far Cry 4 is supposed to blow it out of the waters, and that they've been letting him play it. And oh no, you know what? He's the antagonist. He's the voice of the antagonist, the white guy on the cover. I'm sorry, not the non-white guy on the cover.
Yeah, his name I can't remember it right now, but
God,
it's definitely not.
me.
It's definitely not generic.
It's nothing American at all.
The main character probably is though.
Yeah.
Looking at him.
Yeah, but it's just very. Yeah, with him defending the whole thing because everybody was like, "Oh, this is racist because it's a white man holding, a third world man by the head." I don't know. I don't know why people got up in arms about it.
I mean, that's a whole. I'm trying to think about the conversation threads. That's a whole can of worms that we can put into a rant later.
Yeah.
But it looks, as a game, it looks pretty good, and I'm interested in it.
Thought that was really cool, just how fluid everything was going. He flies off the cliff in the car. He jumps out of the car and boom, kind of glides, right? Mm-hmm. And then just comes down and lands right next to a fortress. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to take that fortress.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to call my buddy and ask him to take that fortress.
Far Cry 4 made it cool. And, I mean, Far Cry 3, had that idea, made that idea cool. And Far Cry 4 is going to just flesh it out even more.
Capitalize on it.
So
and I'm excited. And I'm gonna go out there and say it. Ubisoft is the first group of individuals to bring the DS download away from Nintendo and to Sony and Microsoft. You are now able to play Far Cry 4 with your buddies co-op with only you owning the game and your buddies not.
Yeah. That info was dropped in their Sony conference, and yeah, if some person has the game, friend can play it without owning it, which will be fun.
Boom. DS download made legit.
After that, they went into a brief thing of their. This is why I'm saying be iffy on the cashing in or stuff. You can say Far Cry 4 was the cash in because then they did Just Dance 2015, which I was expecting. Yeah. They did a dance show. They didn't have any celebrity.
They didn't have Usher come out again.
No, they didn't, which is fine. Just
they did announce a new feature to it.
The app?
Yeah, there's an app that you could use. That way you can use the phone as kind of like a Wii remote, so to speak.
Yeah.
That way it improves on the accuracy of your dance moves.
Which is all good for people who are dancing
I guess,
aficionados.
yeah. I mean, if you guys are interested.
They promoted that the game's about everybody being able to dance, and I mean, I don't really host many parties of dancing games. It's normally racing or other things, but
Smash.
Smash. But Just Dance, go and get it. I know my nieces will.
Yeah. It's almost a cash grab, except for the part where the songs are getting catchier. Or I should say more recent.
If you like the recent songs, then go for it.
With that means that they have to be shelling out some serious money for these artists to have their songs.
They didn't elaborate, but they said they were going to make it a lot easier and just have it be a constant stream of the newest songs going into this game.
Huh.
They never elaborated how, and they obviously never elaborated if it's going to cost, which it probably will, but...
Maybe they're going to go the Rock Band 3-way and have it so then you could download songs either individually or maybe get some sort of music pass and, get up to the first 20 songs or something like that.
If they're advertising the phone, I could see you advertise... If they do partnerships with different carriers or something like that, maybe your library of songs could... If the compatible ones could fit on there. But that's their thing. They went back to the bro thing with Tom Clancy's The Division with another gameplay demo, which
whatever.
I liked. I like it's MMO-ish and it looks pretty interesting. The only thing I find funny about it is the gameplay demo where they use the quote-unquote real people talking the whole time. Like it shows these two people joining a group, and they're not very convincing when it comes to them being casual. Like I don't know about you, but when I'm playing co-op in a shooter, I'm not actually kind of calling out things like, oh, we got to lay down suppressing fire, or I'll try and swing them around, or anything like that. But they were, and I don't think any casual gamer says that.
Yeah, I think the most I've said is I'm gonna try to sneak around.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's normally like, what are you doing, bro?
Where are you from?
Or swearing.
Oh, that's cool. Ah,
yeah. So obviously they couldn't show that, but I just thought that was kind of funny. I always thought that was funny when they did, because they did the same thing last year of like these very calm voices, like, oh, I'll see if Logan's on. Hold on. All right, we ready to lay down the pressure? All right, well, I'll swing around. I'm lighting a flash. Good job. Like, no. Nobody talks like that right now. I wish. It sounds like the perfect world, but I wish.
Yeah, it sounds like the good. I don't want competitive gaming.
Yeah, it sounds nice, but that's not the case. But it's an entertaining regardless. For me personally, I don't know if Michael's on board with it or not. I'm still big on the game The Crew.
Nope.
About driving around. I like the premise about driving around the nation is definitely appealing to me. They were talking about a 2-hour long quest, so to speak, of going from coast to coast, avoiding, having a group of your friends and avoiding the police or being the police. I'm not sure if you can be the police in this one, but it looks really cool and really interesting. They dropped a beta down for July 27th and a release date for November 11th. And overall, that looks like a fun racing game. And if I tried Need for Speed Rivals for PS4 and it was okay, but I think The Crew would be the one that satisfies it a little bit more. In which case, I'm all big on. Then they dropped the cinematic trailer or the big info about Assassin's Creed Unity.
Yeah,
including the release date, October 28th.
Yeah, I do want to talk about this myself just because pre E3, I was very negative, and I think I mentioned to you guys that I bought a copy of Assassin's Creed 4 after launch.
For $15.
Yeah, for $15 because it was new at $15. Right now, you could probably pick it up used online for like $14, right? So for me, Assassin's Creed, the last one that I bought at launch was Assassin's Creed 3, and it deeply, deeply saddened me. I couldn't get back into the series, and 4, I think I've pumped maybe an hour and a half, 2 hours into, just because I knew what genericness was to follow. And I wasn't attached to this game series anymore. Spoiler alert for any of you that haven't played this 2 to 3 year old game. At the end of Assassin's Creed 3, the main character, as you guys all know, monkey version of Adam Sandler, sacrifices himself. And so it's like all my attachment to see what happens in the current day vanished. And so with this new trailer, they showed off a little bit of the 4-player co-op of its potential. They showed, the French Revolution, a small part of the French Revolution. I think it was maybe the storming of the Bastille.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. Yeah, okay. Wow, I can't believe I remember that from history class. Anyways.
I was lucky enough to have a cool history teacher, so I keep a lot of stuff in the head. But
I had a pretty cool history teacher for the French Revolution, but I mean, not enough that I would think I would remember that.
Mr. Hard, if you're watching.
Yeah, Miss Moore.
He's not watching.
Miss Moore, you're crazy. Anyways,
name drop.
I saw this. Yeah, name drop. No, I saw this. I listened to the song, and the last time I felt this pumped about a game, or I should say specifically an Assassin's Creed game, was Assassin's Creed.
I know that's the point of the cinematic trailers, but you can't help it.
Yeah, to get pumped. And so, like, I think I've seen the trailer like 4 to 5 times now, and every time it gets better and better every time. And for me, it's warranting me to go back to the franchise and play this game.
We're gonna see if they go back into the Templar Assassin thing, because Assassin's Creed 4, while it was a really great game, at least for me, it was a fun game. It didn't cover a lot of the main overarching stuff because Assassin's Creed 3 kind of sealed that up. So.
Oh right, I never get to say Revelations.
Oh right.
The last time I was that pumped about it was the Revelations cinematic trailer.
So either way, Unity should be, looks like fun, and I'm definitely going to be getting it. I'm a big fan of the series still. After that, they kind of got people really sad and showed off a nice indie game. Not an indie game. It's made by Ubisoft. The Rayman art people are behind this.
Yeah,
and Valiant Hearts: The Great War for June 25th, so coming soon.
In at this point, less than
2 weeks,
week and a half.
Yeah, week and a half.
Yeah. So looking forward to that. Actually, what? Oh, what? June 25th, and set an alarm on my phone to remind me to buy the game on June 25th.
And this is a game that's going to get you interested in World War One. That's not a shooter, and World War One, as a whole, isn't very interesting when it comes to like making an action game. So I'm all big for making this one of these emotional things, and my heart broke in half when you found out that the voice is the dog.
I mean, if you look at military casualties in World War II, it is literally dwarfed by the amount of military casualties in World War I. And that's because in World War I, if you guys don't know, it was trench warfare. And it was basically shooting fish in a barrel. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of Americans, a lot of Germans, a lot of French, a lot of anybody and everybody involved in this war died. And so this game is really just... And it shows it at the end of the trailer with the dog. The main character is supposed to be a dog. Mm-hmm. Just kind of like moving from person to person.
Interacting with other people's lives and stuff.
The dog is sitting on a grave. And then it pans out. And it's nothing but just graves as far as the eye could see. And that's what it was. That's what World War II's brutality was. Just murder. Not murder. Just mass death. And it was sad, and so I'm actually very excited for this game.
Yeah, and it's weird. It's weird to talk about how horrible the war is, and then say I'm excited for it. But
yeah, no.
I mean, like obviously, it's easy to tell. Well, you just want investing into an emotional game, which you don't get a lot of those.
The last time I was emotionally invested in a game was probably The Walking Dead Season 2, first episode, and then I kind of went, so when's episode 2 supposed to come out? And then lost interest.
So that one's gonna be fun, and it's gonna. I keep saying that it's gonna be fun. It's quotation marks.
Okay, interesting.
It's gonna be emotional, and if there's one thing I like doing is I like preparing myself for emotional stuff. I like going, okay, let's get.
One of the reasons why
emotional.
One of the reasons why The Last of Us got me really good was because going into it, I was like, okay, what's the big deal about this game? I did not know it was supposed to be as emotional as it got. And so, I don't know if I'm kind of killing my vibe here by knowing that it's supposed to be emotional, but I'm ready. My body is ready. I'm ready for this game, plain and simple.
And after that, they decided to do their bomb drop because people have been kind of waiting for, I don't know how long, for a number of years about any Rainbow Six news.
They announced not last year, but the year before, Rainbow Six Patriots.
Yeah, and then everybody was wondering where that was.
It just kind of disappeared. They didn't talk about it last year.
And I guess, since I don't know much about Patriots in the first place, they dropped Rainbow Six Siege with a full gameplay demo and everything.
With Siege happening, the question was asked, what happened to Patriots? And Ubisoft replied by saying, oh, we dropped it.
Yeah.
And so Patriots is a no-go. Siege is picking up the pieces where the Patriots team left off. It's taking some of, I know, that build, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the I don't want to say textures, but some of the work that they had already done on Patriots, and they're recycling it into this new game.
And after that, I don't know much about Rainbow Six, so it seems like a good game and all that. And I'm glad Rainbow Six fans are gonna be getting something.
Yeah, I mean, I played Rainbow Six Vegas, the first one, not the second one. I played Future Soldier, or I'm sorry, not Future Soldier. Advanced War. Which one is it?
I think it's Future Soldier. There's Shadow War.
No. It's like Advanced Soldiers 2 as
Advanced
well.
Warfighter.
Advanced Warfighter 1 and 2. I did not play Future Soldier, so I don't know what happened there. But I am excited. I did love the heck out of Vegas and Advanced Warfighter, so my body is waiting for it to come out used.
Yeah.
Or not my body, but I mean the game.
So as a whole, for I already gave our gist before we started EA's conference on what EA's conference is, but Ubisoft's as a whole, I thought they did very well. I'm looking at it optimistically, which means that they did very well. They started on games, including ones that were coming back and new titles.
Yeah, as far as a rating system or anything like that goes, if we had to compare it to last year's and this year's EA conferences, at least publisher-wise, it was exemplary this year.
Aisha Tyler did okay, joke-wise. I'm still iffy on her, but it did fine.
Yeah. So with that, between the two, I'm definitely going to give it a Ubisoft. Sorry, EA, you guys just dropped the ball and dropped it really, really hard. You actually buried the ball.
No, then you dug the ball up and are using it in FIFA.
Yeah, and then selling it to other people like, hey, do you want to show off our game because we're cheap skates?
So our next conference after this video we're going to probably get to recording to is Sony. So
look forward to that.
Get ready for that. And with that, we'll be seeing you guys in the next video.
All right, catch you all later. Hope you guys are still interested in our opinions.
Sweet.